everyone. Welcome to a very special episode where I don't know what we're going to call it because this is my first time doing it. But I have Jon, someone who I have worked with on and off for the last, I don't know, how long have we been kind of sort of working out? Like a year or two now?
Yeah, I feel like it's a couple of years, I think, now.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that flew.
Can you tell us a little bit about Terminus?
Yeah. So Terminus is a tarot-powered ritual RPG. It is a solo journaling game. You can also play it with another player if you would like. That uses a tarot deck. You visit your favorite places. You take a walk through them. You make observations, and then you sit down somewhere comfy. You draw a few tarot cards, and then you use prompts from the card art and from the prompts in the game to tell a story about the things that you saw on your walk. And that's kind of like the elevator pitch for the game, I think. I originally wrote it for a one-page RPG jam, and then I found that it was resonating with a lot of people when I was taking it to sell at like local conventions and stuff like that. So I was like, I bet I could write prompts for the rest of the minor arcana and maybe like some alternate gameplay modes and some other things. And it very quickly turned into like a 20 to 30 page booklet. And that's where we've arrived at today. So I was like, this feels like a good Kickstarter.
Okay, so solo or up to another person tarot. Now, okay, so this is where my complete and utter lack of knowledge comes into. Okay,
Mhm.
so first of all, what does tarot powered mean?
So in this case, what it means is just that there's no like dice or like dice are not the resolution mechanic for this game as they are with a lot of tabletop RPGs. There are a few tabletop RPGs that also use like playing cards and stuff, and instead of using like dice or playing cards, Terminus uses tarot cards. Um, they serve as a way to prompt whatever it is that you're going to journal about. So, in combination with observations that you make about the real world around you, you draw a tarot card, you look at the art, you look at the prompt that's written in the game that I've written that are kind of loosely associated with
Mhm.
the meanings for each of the tarot cards. And then from there, you write your story about whatever it is that you saw. Because the fiction of Terminus is that you are the ghost of the place that you take a walk through and you
Interesting.
are watching your final visitor depart, reliving like all of the things that have happened in you. So you, the person, the player,
Mhm.
walk through in present day and see things happening, and then when you sit down to play the game, what you are experiencing then is reading prompts and looking at what you saw and combining those together to see what happened here and what does it look like now today at my end. A very kind of ethereal feeling.
Interesting. And so you're working on this with Bree, is that correct?
Yes, Bree is a co-creator of the game. I messaged her the weekend of this one-page RPG jam, and I was like, "Hey, you want to make a game? I just had an idea." And she was like, "Sure. What do you need?" And I was like, "Well, I would love some cover art. And just like one illustration would do. Can you do me like a landscape that's inside like the silhouette of a person, kind of like ghostly and ethereal?" And she's like, "You have no idea how much you have just pitched one like right over the plate for me because." I didn't actually know this about Brie before the start of this project, but she started drawing with landscape art.
Oh, okay.
So it was right in her home turf, and she has done a lot of very very beautiful art. Where every time she does interior art for the game, we have 3 pieces currently. We've been kind of moving along the theme of Tarot's major arcana. So the for our cover and interior art for the zine. And if you look at the stretch goals that we have on Kickstarter today, we actually, if we can hit, if we overfund, we will be adding even more. I think up to 4 more tarot illustrations that'll also become prints that you can pick up. But it was a lot of fun asking Brie to draw these because I gave her kind of like a very loose set of criteria, and then a couple hours later, she messaged me like the like 60% done work in progress, and my jaw just hit the floor. It was like she had pulled the vibes for this game straight out of my head. The art that I shared for the devil, she did like the full color background for it. All of that like beautiful like shades of red and yellow and orange on there, and then drawn the silhouette of the devil onto it. And then I loved the way that she desaturated the background. It felt perfect for Terminus, just because of the fiction of the game is that you are a place that has seen many things, but after the events of this game, you will see no more. And so it felt very fitting that there's these like Bree's art is very vibrant, and it felt like a really good contrast between like these cool shapes in the background, like sort of indistinct, and then
Hmm.
that the moment of that last visitor passing through feels very vibrant once more as you re-experience those memories. Kind of like in the same way that when you walk outside on a fall day, um, like that first really crisp fall day, just all of those memories come rushing back to you.
I live in California. There's no such thing as a crisp fall day. It's always just hot.
My Midwesterner is showing, I feel like.
Okay, so you touched on something real brief that I wanted to kind of go over. You don't have to give full details because there's a link in the description for anyone that's interested in this, and we'll also have a link at the end of this video for all of you to check out the Kickstarter. But I can you just give me a brief description of what are some of the tiers that you're offering, and then let's go into maybe some of the stretch goals that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have at present four tiers. The Spirit tier is the first tier. It's just $5, and that gets you a PDF copy of the game. We are printing at digest size, which means that if you get that PDF copy and you have a color printer, you can print it out on thing like at home.
Okay.
You do it double sided and staple it together. So that's a fantastic way to back if you don't want to pay like international shipping, or like you're just looking for a kind of lower tier to back at. We have the Ghost tier, which is $15. That gets you the book and the PDF. We'll ship a physical copy to you. We have the Spectre tier, which is the book, the PDF, and all three of our prints.
Okay.
And then my favorite tier, because I am very excited to see what comes out of this, is $125. It's called the Wanderer tier, and that gets you the book, the PDF, the print pack, and you get a custom art commission from our artist Bree. She will draw a location of your choice in the style of Terminus's art.
Nice.
So I'm very excited to see what we get out of that tier.
I hope that you're putting a limit on how many people can be on that because three.
At present,
Okay.
it is three. If we have enough demand for it, we may increase that up to five. But we are starting with three slots.
Yeah,
So
yeah, because that's definitely gonna. I feel like that's gonna be a very successful like spot.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so what is your initial goal for the Kickstarter, and like what are some of the like? Yeah, again, you don't have to spoil
Mhm.
everything, but like if you've got some stretch goals, I'd love to hear them.
We do, yeah. So $750 is our funding goal. It's pretty modest. That lets us print the first print run of books, ship them out to our backers. We'll be doing shipping through BackerKit afterwards, so we have a realistic estimate of what we're actually going to have to
Sure.
charge people for shipping. But 750 is our initial goal, and that kind of just covers our costs for making the books, because like the art for the book and the writing for it is at this point largely done.
Yeah.
We just kind of have to make it and send it out. Our stretch goals, because these would be fun to have, if we hit, it's over here. I'm gonna check myself so I don't wreck myself. When we hit 1K, Bree will draw an additional two pieces of art that will also be available as 5x7 prints. So we have currently the three pieces of card that we have. You can get as add-ons as well. Tack out that onto any one of those tiers to kind of customize it. But if we hit 1K, we get an additional two pieces of interior art to spruce up the book even more. At 1.2K, we are hiring a professional layout artist. So your writer friend here on screen does not have to do the layout in Microsoft Word.
Sure.
And then at 2K, we have even more illustrations. So we'll have Bree do another two, which makes for four more. So at that point, we will have seven pieces of unique like Terminus style tarot art that we'll put into the book, and that'll be available as prints. So
Nice. Okay, so now I've done all the softball questions. Now here's the hard questions. Okay, you ready for
cool.
this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
stretch it out. What other games or what other things have you done in the past that you feel uh or show off that you have game making skills? Like, if so, this is the first time anyone has ever seen you, what's your resume? Like, what other games have you made? What have you done? Who are you?
Who is this guy anyway? Why should I back his Kickstarter? So I have a few published games already on my itch page. You can find a variety of hacks of lasers and feelings on there. My very first one was called Kobolds and Trenchcoats. That has been one of my most successful games so far. The premise of it is as you might expect, you are a bunch of kobolds stacked on each other's shoulders in the trench coat. It is your mission to cause mayhem, and every single time, this is my resume. This is my pitch to you as to why you should buy my games. Every single time somebody has told me about their game of kobolds and trenchcoats, every single time I have run it for people, every single time I have had it run for me, it is some of the most fun I have ever had playing tabletop RPGs or hearing about other people's events. It is so much fun to hear about. And I I also there is something to the fact that when I take this game to sell at conventions and stuff, there will be people who will be just kind of cruising along, like looking at things in Artist Alley or like the expo hall, and I will watch people physically double take when they see the little one pagers that I've got set out. So I think that's my pitch here.
Okay, all right. You
Um,
what and people that's still up for sale on your itch page, right?
Yes, you can pick up all of those on itch, the digital copies. Although I will also say, I did put add-ons in the Kickstarter. If you want to pick up physical copies of any of my lasers and feelings hacks, you can get those. You can add those onto your order of Terminus. So,
Awesome.
um, Kobolds and Trenchcoats create in chaos, in which you play an artist's doodle, trying to fend off like literal art gremlins, and Monsters and Microphones, where you are in a battle of the bands and everyone is monsters.
Nice, nice.
So,
I mean, I'm excited. I know what tier I'm already going to be throwing money at it. So
mhm.
you might want to look at upping that 125 to 5.
I think we're gonna have to. We were conservative at first, but I think Bree and I knew well that there's probably going to be some people. There's probably going to be a large amount of people who will want to back there.
Yeah. All right. So the concept of the game is very interesting. Where exactly did you come up with the concept itself?
This was super fun. So it was a combination of like being prompted by a game jam that was happening, which that's a feature of itch that really I love so much. Game jams are a lot of fun. Which is, for those not familiar, somebody like hosts a space for other people to write along a prompt. So in this case, it was write a game that fits on one page. So one of those was coming close to its end, and I knew I wanted to do something for it. And I was out on a walk in the evening around my neighborhood, and I looked up and I saw a very, very pretty sunset as I was walking along. And then I looked out in front of me, and the park that I usually walk through that I could see across the road was like totally empty. And it was that perfect like golden hour like shafts of
Mm,
light
mhm.
just like falling across it, where some of it had fallen partly into shadow and part of it was just beautifully illuminated. Um and uh the My brain kind of just produced the thought, what if ghost but of place? Um, and the game writer in me was like, "Oh, no, 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 hold on. There's something here." Because I spent a lot of time, I think, as a child when I was walking around parks or like the local nature center, making up stories about the things that I saw. And I don't think that that's a particularly unique experience. I think a lot of people do that. When you're stuck in a car ride watching like windmills and barns or anything, like again, my Midwest is showing. But like when you're watching just things on the side of the road go by, like, and you're bored, you tell stories about it in your head. And I think Terminus is sort of a love letter to that kid wandering around Lime Creek Nature Center in Iowa. A love letter to anybody who stares out the window or who looks idly as they're taking a walk to ask themselves, what's that about? So that's kind of how I came up with the game, and it was interesting to shift it from like a you are the person
Sure.
walking through to you are the place thinking about all of the things that have happened here, because that's something that I think has always been interesting to me. Like kind of stepping outside myself for a moment and thinking about, or acknowledging at least, that like this is a park, it's a liminal
Yeah.
space, or like this is a beach, it's a liminal space. Other people come here and they have a great time, but they don't linger here. It is a place where people come and go all the time, and so many things happen here that are meaningful to all of the people that come here, but you know, I only experience what I see. So
Yeah.
it's interesting then to imagine that I am the place watching all of these people experiencing these things simply by virtue of my existence.
My brain is flowing with like a bunch of random like ideas, and I don't even know how to play the game. So
See, like I adore this game for that very reason, and both because of that, and because back in my creative writing classes in college, like part of the practice for that was just like going to places and observing things, like building up a bank of experiences that you can use in your writing to make it feel real and relatable. And it can be very easy when we go to like all of our favorite haunts, or just our regular haunts, to allow them to kind of become background noise. And so Terminus for me is a very fun way to take a walk that I do 4 or 5 times a week around my neighborhood,
sure.
and make it something new and interesting, and appreciate those little pieces of a place that I may overlook, because I've walked through it 100 times.
Nice. I really love that. It's very, very unique, very different. Huh.
Yeah. Think that's why I tagged it as a ritual RPG, rather than going just straight for the journaling RPG, because it does ask you to go somewhere and walk
Sure.
around a little bit, and there's
Sure,
something a little
sure.
bit, I think, ritualistic about take a walk, look at things, and then sit down and draw some cards.
Almost meditative, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which again, tarot is doubling back to like our one of our very first questions, like what's the deal with the tarot deck? What does that mean, tarot powered? you know, Sort of what tarot is used for too. It's a very meditative practice, and so fits well, I think, as the resolution mechanic for the game.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Uh, well, everyone, check out Terminus on Kickstarter. You can click on the link below. I'm gonna race you to the 125, so I'll see you all there. Let's see which one of us is going to be the top three. Um, but yes, thank you so much, John, for joining us. Thank you for talking about this game. It's very, very clear that you are very passionate about this. I have some of your other games that you've created, and I've enjoyed them very much. So I look forward to seeing what you and Bree have put together. Both people, very wonderful people that I want to work more with. So thank you so much, and everyone else, go check it out. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Jake.
Of course.
God, I'm glad that I've been doing the content creation thing for a couple of years now, because I never would have been able to just talk about my shit like that before.